Hi, and welcome back to What's Driving You Crazy. I'm your host, Esmeralda Zamora, and today I am joined by our traffic anchor and traffic expert, Erica Brennes.
No pressure.
We're tackling some of the road headaches that a lot of our viewers are sharing with us. Erica, what is our topic specifically today?
So today I wanted to unpack the Austin Light Rail Project Connect and give an update as there is a meeting on Wednesday, December 3rd. We're recording this before this meeting, but our City Hall reporter, Grace Reeder, did an update, and I said, you know what? I want to unpack that a little bit with Esme and fill you in on the latest with a new light rail line in Austin, aka Project Connect, part of a big plan to improve Austin transportation and alternative modes of transportation to get people out of their cars. And so I said, okay, let's unpack it.
Let's unpack it. And this is a topic that a lot of Austinites have been talking about or waiting for. Before we get into it, please explain to us what this electric train,
light rail.
Yeah, what is a light rail?
So, well, just like what you said, electric, right? Versus, like a car that's running, or sorry, not a car, a train that's running on coal. Is that what they normally like? I'm like not completely sure how all of the different trains and rails operate as far as just like power, but yeah, light rail that what's interesting about the Austin Light Rail and Project Connect is that you have to rewind the clock, okay, when we talk about this project, because this is actually something that has been on ballots in Austin for decades. And it finally passed in 2020. So that was the pandemic. But it was also a presidential election back in November of 2020. So the turnout was pretty decent. You always have a lot more people that turn out to vote during a presidential election. So it passed. So in 2020, height of the pandemic, people came out to vote and they voted in favor of adding a light rail to Austin.
They voted yes.
They voted yes. Well, this is 5 years ago. And so, even just personally, as someone who voted for this, because I live in this world of transportation and alternative modes of transportation, and I support that. I love bike lanes. I love bike share programs. It's not really like my life right now to go out there and hop on a scooter or hop on a bike. But I understand the importance of having all of the different options, especially for a thriving city like Austin and my hometown. Whereas we have talked about, just like we did with the Oak Hill Parkway, this has been something that the city of Austin has considered for a really long time, and it did finally pass in 2020.
And Erica, when you say that it passed and voters voted yes, what came with that? Was there going to be a tax increase?
There was, yeah. So it was going to be a tax rate hike. And voters said, yeah, I mean, listen, voters will pay more in taxes, right? If it's for the benefit of the community. Obviously, it doesn't always work. We just saw that in November of 2025, about a month ago. That did not work. Proposition Q failed. So it just sort of depends. I think it depends a lot on the climate, the city, where everyone is, the economy. And it's really interesting that in a time when we were all sort of working from home, living different ways that we weren't used to during the pandemic, we did vote for this tax rate hike. And it's just all interesting. It's a great study in human behavior and priorities and that sort of thing. So
what is it going to do essentially? What are the next steps?
I was looking for here's what I'm looking for. Hold on, let me get my notes out so I can, because what I was going to tell you is that so Greg Canale, leads the Austin Transit Partnership, and he's sort of the point of contact when it comes to the officials that we can talk to with this. And so, I mean, we just talked to Greg Canale, I think like 2 weeks ago. Our Ava Brengord, one of our reporters, also did an update on Project Connect. So lots of, it's making a lot of headlines. So that tax rate hike, according to Canale, he said would generate around $165 million a year.
Wow.
Which is a lot, right?
Yeah.
But this light rail, obviously, pretty pricey. And the price has, fluctuated. One thing that's really interesting is that in 2022, KXAN did an investigation that found sky high construction costs. I mean, I don't know if you remember that it was so
Yes.
high. It was, again, had a lot to do with the pandemic, right? Everyone was they're hunkered down. Suddenly they're like, I need more space. I got to move. I need a home office. Let me renovate. Let me move. Like
DIY renovations.
all of the things. And so suddenly construction costs just skyrocketed. So in 2022, KXAN found that the land costs also was very expensive to buy a home in Austin. Still is, but it was really expensive then. It doubled the price tag. So so we're talking billions of dollars, right? And so then project leader said, well, do we ask for another tax? Do we ask taxpayers to pay even more? They decided not to.
Wow.
And part of the light rail is funded also federally. And, the Trump administration has made some changes as far as federal funding when it comes to transportation. But Canali says that the federal funding is there. So what I thought was really interesting as someone who's, again, watched this from afar, a native Austinite, a resident of Austin, and someone who also lives in the world of transportation, ATP, Austin Transit Partnership, says this is all on track. It's not like this is behind. So I think that's,
it's a good sign. Yeah.
It's a good sign.
It's happening.
All good things take a lot of time, and it certainly is.
And I'm sure that this project is going to roll out in phases. Do you know exactly what is going to be rolled out through that first phase into the final one?
So this is a really small map, so maybe we can make it bigger. And okay, so let's start with it's about 10 miles long-ish, 15 stops through Austin. So so what you're going to see on this map, the legend is really important. So the top part has like a black line through it, right? That is for future expansion. So the solid yellow is what the thank you.
It's
I knew Esme would be able to
bigger
figure that out.
version.
So starting at Guadalupe and 38th, and then heading south. So you'll see it actually splits off, right? So it's a straight line-ish, and then it goes east and it goes a little bit south.
Mm-hmm.
So it would go through the heart of campus there on Guadalupe, which should be really cool. And then through the downtown area, down Congress, over the bridge, and then keep going straight towards Old Torf. But then also there would be a line that would go east towards the airport, not all the way to the airport.
Interesting. Why not all the way to the airport?
That is $1 million question, Esme. I mean, the Austin Transit Partnership, it comes down to funding, right? I thought that the rail, if it did go all the way to the airport, I was like, oh, this is going to be a slam dunk.
Yeah.
But it still passed even without the completion to the airport with the plan to expand it eventually. Timeline on that, I don't know.
If it's taking us 5 years to get going, I think we'll wait a little longer.
I know. And I would love nothing more than to be able to get on a rail line in my little suburb in South Austin and zip into downtown. Not really a reality for me, unfortunately. Southwest Austin,
and all that.
Right? No, not a reality. Like that is absolutely not on the anytime, probably not in my lifetime, which is interesting. Okay, so let's talk about the timeline. Okay, so construction is supposed to start in 2027. So, it's almost 2026. We're getting there.
Yeah.
But actually, breaking ground.
2027. Interesting.
Then potentially open for service. The idea is 2033.
2033.
Yes, I know. And it's obvious. I mean, you think about it, when you drive through from 38th and Guadalupe all the way through downtown.
I would love to get on one of those.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Electric rail.
I know. And it's supposed to run every 10 minutes. There's 15 stops along the route. If you want to pull that map back up, we can kind of unpack it and think about everything that, is there. Half that also, one thing that I always talk about when it comes to transportation is, and mass transit specifically, is parking.
Yeah.
So let's not ignore the fact that it is really hard to get Texans and even in Austin people out of their cars.
It looks like they set it up.
There's supposed to be parking.
Park and ride.
Yeah, I mean,
areas.
park and ride is essential in my opinion. And I used to work downtown for actually a transportation company, and I have taken the bus to and from Southwest Austin to downtown. And really one of the biggest barriers to entry for me personally was a park and ride. Because also what's interesting is like you can weasel your way around town if you want to use mass transit.
You can use a Lime scooter.
Well, exactly. Or you can like get a little bit closer that's going to get you on a more of a direct route.
Yeah.
Whereas like, you might live somewhere where you have to do a connector or, one thing that always was
Or
frustrating.
walk. Yeah.
Well, the bus that served me from Cap Metro was the route home was much longer. The way that they went back towards Southwest Austin versus going to downtown was different. So even though I would have had to sit in traffic, it would take me twice as long to get home on the bus than if I had just driven my car. So,
they had extra
if you provide
stops.
a park and ride to a certain point that maybe is the point where it's going to take you longer, you're more likely to get people keep them out of the downtown core if you provide parking at like these, big areas like 30th and Guadalupe, for instance, or eventually 2222 and Guadalupe or Crestview as far as how this thing would expand.
And what about up here a little north?
And that's more of a, future expansion.
And let's say they're going to continue to expand this as the years go by. Where do you think it's going to end up going?
Well, gosh, that's a great question because I do think ultimately, okay, so if you look at the map right now, right? Now, if you go actually really dig into Project Connect is a massive project, okay? It is not just light rail. It is bus systems. It's much larger than just this light rail. And so they have actually done, over the last 5 years, there have been different routes and different improvements and adjustments made and new routes added and that sort of thing through Cap Metro. But it's just not the light rail that has kicked off. So, I mean, it's an extensive vision one day, but I think that's so far away. It's hard to even like entertain where could be next beyond what you're looking at here as far as like, the future, quote, priority extension is what they're calling it. Like, which would include to the airport, which would include up to Crestview on that north side of Guadalupe. But, I think regardless, it will be really valuable. I mean, 38th and Guadalupe, go through UT, go into downtown, go over to Congress, go all the way to Old Torf and South Congress. You can stop along SoCo. I mean, I think that would be super popular,
Yeah.
I mean,
safer too for anyone who wants to go down to SoCo
right.
in the evening time, doesn't want to drive.
Yeah. And when you look at the patterns, right? Like, because when I first started at KXAN in 2022, I very selfishly was like, why hasn't South Mopac expanded? And the South Mopac toll is supposed to expand and all this stuff. And when I actually pulled the numbers, I was like, oh, there's far more people on a day-to-day basis commuting along 183 to get to Mopac or on that north part of Mopac than on South Mopac.
Yeah.
Like twice as many or something. The numbers were much higher up there than down in South Austin. So all of this is strategic, as far as the location of the line and that sort of thing. It's not just, willy-nilly. One thing that's cool, this is my next photo that I wanted to show, part of the I-35 Capital Express Central project factors in the light rail line because there would be a new connector there, right, from Congress and Riverside over to Riverside at Yellow Jacket is where it would currently ends on the proposal.
Another bridge, an extra bridge.
Yeah. I mean, and doesn't that look pretty?
It does look beautiful.
That little AI generated image. But it is currently factored into the I-35 project for the Capital Express project. So, it's happening. And look, also I-35 is, we're looking at a decade long of
construction there.
So things will look really different in 10 years. It just is going to be, there's going to be some pain in the meantime.
And talk to me about this TxDOT multimodal plan.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think when you really talk to experts, okay, because you have, the armchair experts, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the actual urban planners that plan out the way we all actually move, and engineers, and obviously TxDOT is full of people like that. They have found that offering multimodal options, it does work. It's just you have pushback in a way, like, and I think I've talked to you about this of like how people hate bike lanes, and it's like
drivers specifically hate bike lanes.
Some people, yes. I mean, I just the other day had someone else in my DM say, "And get rid of the bike lanes." I'm like, what?
It's also you have to factor.
Bike lanes?
A lot of these bike riders don't use the bike lanes as they should be used,
And that happens too. Or you have, delivery drivers or people parking and picking up a friend or an Uber or whatever that pulls over into the bike lane and blocks it for a second. So believe me, it is a love-hate relationship on both sides. But TxDOT ultimately, says we do see the value in multimodal. Obviously, they lead the charge when it comes to
the decisions
or ways to get around in your car, if you will.
The roads.
The roads. Well, it's confusing because you've got the county, you've got the city, and then you've got the state, and so they all kind of like work together. But their stance as of late is saying, hey, like we fully support multimodal ways to get around. Yeah. So it's promising. I mean, it's like a giant puzzle piece, and every little piece matters. And I think anyone who, feels like, why do we invest in mass transit, or why do we invest in these different things? I think it's like you really have to take a look around, a 360 view of the world around you, and that not everyone has a car. Not everyone has access to a bus stop right out of their house. Not everyone has access to great transportation.
To Uber, to Lyft.
Whether it's just proximity, whether it's the ability to afford a car, you could have someone who works multiple jobs. I mean, there's so many different types of people, and that is also what makes America amazing, right? And that what makes our world amazing is that you have all different walks of life, and it's expensive and it's timely, but it's like everyone. The reason I love transportation so much is because it's access to good transportation can make or break a life. Like if you don't have the ability to go explore the arts, music, theater, dance, whatever it might be, that can change the trajectory of your life. And so that's why I feel passionate about transportation, is because it really does impact everyone. And so it's refreshing, obviously, to hear TxDOT say that. And, there's other long range plans with trains and different rail lines.
And that bullet train that a lot of people have been talking about.
Yeah, like connecting like the triangle, like Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Austin. Mm-hmm. But all of this is expensive, and it's timely, and everyone is fighting for state money, local money, federal money. And at some point you're like, well.
And on top of it, when you want to build something like that, it has to go through different parts of
acquisition. Yep.
That doesn't belong to you. Yeah. Often it's private. So
I know.
Lots of obstacles.
There's so much to it. But, I think it was important to have the conversation about like, hey, for the voters out there that lived in Austin in 2020 that voted for this line, here's where it is. Don't forget that, it did pass. So
2033. You got till 2033.
Yeah. 15 years later.
Yeah. You vote it and then you wait on it.
I know.
Well, we have your article here on our website.
Yeah, that was actually, that's Grace's article. She did the update, and Ava also worked on it today, and then, or yesterday and today, and then I'm sure it'll get updated as well because there's a meeting today at 2:00.
And we can visit this website or visit this article on our website, KXAN.com.
And we've got links if you want to really unpack the vast, project of Project Connect, and then obviously how it branches out with the light rail and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and we even have the timeline if you're interested in seeing how long it's going to take.
Really pretty. I mean, they're going to do those walking paths for pedestrians and cyclists, and I mean, I don't know about you, but if you went to sleep in 2020 and woke up in 2025 and drove some of the stretches of Guadalupe and Lavaca and Congress, and it's like it is it is nice. I mean, these greater streets is what they call, where they add the shared use paths and the trees and the benches and all that and the lighting. And I'm like, it does look
Different.
nice. It does look different than it did 5-10 years ago. And it's pretty, I think.
Yeah, and it's going to continue to change, and we're all going to be here to hopefully to see it happen.
I know. God willing.
Well, thank you, Erica, for joining us and sharing a few of things that are driving people crazy.
I know.
If anyone wants to share what's driving them crazy with you, how do they do that?
Brennes TV is a great way to get in touch. And again, if you don't hear from me, just ping me. Just remind me.
It doesn't hurt to send a little reminder.
Yeah.
Well, that's all we have for today. Thanks for joining me. And for anyone who is wanting to watch more videos like this, don't forget you can download our free KXAN Plus streaming app anywhere you get your streams, any streaming device that you use. And don't forget to check us out on KXAN.com for all of your latest updates.
All right, bye.
Bye.